Hey, it's Jeff here. Welcome to NEBR, New England Beer Reviews, from the Portsmouth Brewery of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Their annual late winter brew. It's their Royal Impy Stout with an alcohol by volume of 11.1% ABV. This is put out at the end of February, early March every year. It was just released the day before I am recording this video, and this is the 2017 edition, as you can see. And well, I think the keg's pretty much emptied out by the end of the day, and they have some bottles available. So this is a beer that is usually in much demand and usually doesn't last too long, and can only be found at the brewery. So this version's been around since 2013. Prior to that, in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, there was another popular imperial stout that was brewed at the Portsmouth Brewery, where people would wait in long, long lines to get it. And that was the Kate the Great Imperial Stout. And this is very similar to that. And then after the brewer left the Portsmouth Brewery, he went off to form his own brewery. He then created his own Imperial Stout that he puts out at his own brewery. And this is the new variant, simply called the Royal Impy Stout. Now, I have had the Kate the Great, and I don't know whether the recipe varies. It probably does a little bit. I'm sure it does a little bit on both of the various versions that are out there these days. But I want to give this a try, and because I haven't had an Imperial Stout from Portsmouth Brewery for some time. So this, as you can see, is a corked caged top. Just a black cage on it. And let's see how the cork comes off on this. It's going to be one of those, I guess. All right, let's try it this way. Somehow I feel like I have deja vu. Remember the shipyard video I did a few months ago? It looks like I'm going to get it. There we go. All right, let's get into the pour. Those corked cage tops can be quite harrowing sometimes, you know. So let's give it a pour. This is only a 12.7 fluid ounce bottle. It costs about $10 for this bottle, but it is a small limited batch. So there's the pour. Take a look at this. You can see a definite dark brown, practically jet black. I'd call it more black than brown, with this tan head up top here. That's a small one, not a big head, but you know, it's a small head, so we've got a bit of character in that regard. Let's check out the aroma. Getting a bit of dark roasted malts. I'm getting a touch of cocoa or chocolate. And I'm getting some raisins maybe even. And a hint of molasses perhaps. But I put it more in the chocolate cocoa range. Dark and roasty. It's 11% ABV. I'm not picking up any sort of booze or alcohol. That's really well buried in the aroma for sure. It's like a cereal thing, like a dark cereal sort of thing going on here as well. But that may be kind of the raisiny dark fruit character. I say more raisiny and bready, dark bready. So let's take a taste. Ooh, the chocolate on this is really something else. It's almost like a chocolate stout. I don't think it's supposed to be a chocolate stout. It's an imperial stout, but definitely the chocolate character, very sweet and chocolatey, like a Nestle's dark chocolate. Or Hershey's dark chocolate, I meant, like a Hershey's dark chocolate. But anyway, that's the main character. I'm getting is a big chocolate thing. Dark and roasty for sure. Maybe a little raisin activity. Just like the aroma, I'm really not picking up any sort of booze character on this in the flavor. There's a mild to moderate bitterness at the end. I believe this is in the 50 International Bitterness Unit range. So it's got a slight bite. I would call it mild to moderate. Lingers a touch on the palate. I don't want to drink this one too fast because it is an Imperial Stout, 11%, but that's the character I'm getting in the first 2 or 3 sips on this. And this is something that's going to be a sipper. I'm not going to sit here and just pound it down in front of the camera. I want to enjoy this off camera as well. But I gotta say, if you like your stouts to be chocolatey, and if you like your high alcohol stouts to have a low booze character and just sort of focus on the sweet malt roastiness, then I think you're going to like this beer quite a lot. But for some it might be too chocolatey. An imperial stout to me is going to be more bold, you know, in the malt category, and maybe even like a dark, for me anyway. This is my experience. Other people may disagree, but for me, imperial stouts tend to have a real nice dark roasty character, not as much in the chocolate range. It's more of a really dark roastiness with like a dark fruit, a raisin sort of character. And I'm getting all that here, not so much the fruit. I'm getting more of the raisins, I'm getting a bit of a molasses, and I'm getting, of course, a big chocolate bite. That's the thing I'm getting the most of in this beer. But I do pick up the house yeast just a little bit. But that might just be some more of the chocolate cereal type characters I'm getting in this beer. But it's really a nice beer. I mean, it's not, if you're drinking this, you're not going to know it's 11% till you're done because it's very sweet. The booze is completely masked and buried, and it's just one of those beers that might be very easy to drink if you don't watch out. So I know better. So I'm going to take my time on this, and I'm going to give this a pretty decent review. I think it's a nice beer, and I'm glad that they put it out once a year. First time I've had it in a few years. So anyway, this is the Portsmouth Brewery 2017 Royal Impy Stout. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again next time.